Ready. The White Sox cannot avoid the harsh bristles of the vaunted broom. The CHGO White Sox postgame show next. Welcome into the CHGO White Sox post-game show, coming to you live from Studio B. The B stands for blown. I'm your host, CHGO White Sox host, Sean Anderson, alongside me. Kevin Wells, our producer, coming to you. I'm going to do it again.
Yo.
There you go. A little bit.
That was a weak yo.
Third time's the charm?
Yo.
A little too strong.
Too much.
Anyways, we're coming to you live after this White Sox blown save. Sox lose 4-3. Kevin, I had a yeah, you could play that one. I had a headline and everything written to you, and honestly, I was just delaying the inevitable because it didn't feel good. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like I knew what I was going to be talking about with this game. And what you come in the ninth inning and you're like, hey, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I got to just wait until the end of this game. And then I'm like, well, I'm leaving Kevin out to dry. Kevin's got to make a thumbnail. Kevin's got to make a social graphic. Kevin has to have an idea of what he's producing today, even though I know I'm producing heartbreak.
I got it.
I know you got it.
We got it handled.
I send you over Martin Perez and the White Sox avoid a sweep. And I was trying to phrase it too because, you know, they have only won 3 games if they win this game. So they've been able to avoid a sweep in every series. They've won 1 game of every series. That's progress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then
something.
The White Sox come out. And you could tell the White Sox were coming out when Martin Perez was relieved in the 7th inning by Mike Clevenger. Mike Clevenger didn't have it. And then Penn Murphy comes in, and Penn Murphy really didn't have it. And then Frazier Ellard was able to get Kerry Carpenter out, but then he really didn't have it in the 9th inning. And then they brought in Jordan Leisure, apparently completely cold, and he didn't have it. And then you start wondering, does Will Venable have it? Is Will Venable starting to already break after these 9 games? This was easily the worst managed game of Will Venable's early career. Am I going to start saying fire Will Venable? No. Is this Pedro level bad? No. Is this rookie manager trying to get every single run to give his team a chance to win? Yes. I think this was desperation from Will Venable, so let's talk about it. Truly, this game is decided in the top of the 4th and the bottom of the 9th. The top of the 4th, you may be saying, hey, that's not a bad inning for the Chicago White Sox. They scored a run. Jackson Jobe on the mound. He's a rookie making his 2nd start. Matt Tice reached on an infield single to Jackson Jobe, who wasn't able to play the ball cleanly, wasn't really sure how to field that ball properly. Tice, a catcher, beats out the throw over to first base. Then Vargas walks, so you got runners at 1st and 2nd, and Brooks Baldwin, everyone's guy. Kevin, who's a Cubs fan, Cubs producer, I mean, this is probably even his guy. Who doesn't love Brooks Baldwin? As White Sox Dave posted on X, you could just see that this kid basically looks like a 12-year-old Little League World Series player. He's got like the thinnest, most disgusting little tiny mustache. Brooks Baldwin, who's 24 years old, looks like he's growing a 12-year-old mustache. 85% of his damn head is taken up by his eye black and his hat. Like, I mean, this is, you look at Brooks Baldwin, he's all ears, hat, eye black, and then like the tiniest little mustache you've ever seen. I am just amazed that with all the love going around for Brooks Baldwin, his 7-game hitting streak, with a runner on 1st and 2nd against a pitcher who really doesn't have it, really didn't show you that he had it, had already given up 2 runs before in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Brooks Baldwin comes up, and he lays down a sacrifice bunt. And it's kind of even barely played well by Jobe. He's able to get Baldwin out at first base, but then you're sacrifice bunting to get to who? I feel like I just desperately need Herb Lawrence. I need to call him. I should call him just right now on my phone, but I'm not going to do that to Herb Lawrence right now. I should call him, and I know exactly what he would say. You're bunting to get to who?
Right.
Jake Amaya, who's on this team after you DFA'd him. The Orioles picked him up, DFA'd him, and everyone's wondering, why is he on the team? I'm trying to defend it by saying he's a glove-first shortstop. Everyone notes, though, that his glove is average. So he's a noodle bat with an average glove, a pretty below average arm for a shortstop, and you're sacrifice bunting to get to him. You're honestly lucky that he is able to get a ball to the outfield that's deep enough to get Matt Tyson, of all people, from third base. Have Brooks Baldwin, who's a switch hitter and has the platoon advantage, hit. You have no outs against a rookie pitcher. Put the pressure on him. What are you doing? And I didn't want to get worked up, Kevin. The White Sox had the lead. It's a Sunday. The White Sox don't have a lead often. You got to trust the bullpen, right? Martin Perez is the greatest pitcher in Chicago since John Lester. The lefty, him or Mark Burley. I haven't seen a lefty this crafty since those two. Am I out of line? You're following
in Chicago?
Game.
No, I'm not. I'm texting Sarah. We're talking about it at back end thing. What? Sorry.
You're pretty.
No. Hit me with the question again. I'm paying attention.
I'm just being facetious. I'm being over the top. I'm saying we
Strongest
haven't
lefty
seen a
performances.
lefty this good in Chicago, lefty pitcher this good in Chicago since John Lester, Mark Burley. I'm even jokingly omitting, Garrett Crochet. It's a Martin Perez joke. The guy's got 12 innings and 12 and a third innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run. He's been fantastic.
2 quality starts, right? That qualifies 2 quality starts.
Right. Yeah. Because he goes 6 and a third today.
Listen, man, have fun with the little wins this year. I mean, he looked good today. I mean, your bullpen stinks. It was a tough managed game. There was 4 hits. I mean, you're not going to win a lot of games with 4 hits anyway. It doesn't matter who you're playing.
Right. Well, and that's why, you look at Will Venable and you're probably thinking, hey, in the top of the 4th, I got to try to get any run I can, even if it's Jake Amaya up with, second and third and 1 out, even if he, is able to draw a walk, and we still got 1 out and bases loaded. Anyways, Amaya gets the second out of the inning. He's able to drive in a run, and then Taylor flies out to center. White Sox end the 4th 3-1, and that ball game stays there. It gets a little rocky. Clevenger comes in, and he's not really able to get an out. Cam Boozer thankfully bails them out, bases loaded. Riley Green, of all players, comes up to the plate. Cam Boozer's able to get Riley Green striking out swinging, so they are able to escape danger in the 7th. In the 8th, Penn Murphy is barely able to get an out. He gets 2 outs, but also gives 2 guys on. Kerry Carpenter comes up. Penn Murphy is mainly a right-handed sweeper pitcher, so when you're throwing a sweeper into lefties, usually those balls go very, very far. Kerry Carpenter, one of the few power hitters on the Tigers, along with Torque. But they bring in Frazier Ellard, a lefty. He's able to get Carpenter to ground out to second, so they're able to avoid danger again. And then it did really just feel like they were running out of luck, because as I was saying, I was really iffy on writing this headline. It didn't feel like the White Sox, of all teams, is a team you could say, they got this wrapped up with a 3-1 lead. Frazier Ellard continues to come in. Javi Baez, of all people, is looking all right, Kevin. Your guy. I think he went 3 for 4 today.
2 guys turning it around for the Tigers. Torkelson and Baez both having nice starts to the year.
And we'll get to Torkelson in a second. But anyways, Baez singles to left. Sweeney then grounds into a fielder's choice. McKinstry then walks. Green then walks. And Green was on 4 pitches. And what John Schriffen and Steve Stone note here, after Riley Green faces 4 pitches that aren't really even in the zone, you kind of question, is this an intentional walk from Will Venable? Green gets on first base, and what John Schriffen and Stone say are, there's no one warming in the pen. And then Venable comes out, and then you say, here's movement in the pen. And he's going to the pen. Mm-hmm. You weren't sure who the pitcher was, because even when pitcher, number 49, comes out of the bullpen, I knew, hey, it's Jordan Leisure, but Schriffen and Stone aren't even noting, and Jordan Leisure's coming into the game. They're still reacting and trying to figure out, what's going on. I would have to go with Stone and Schriffen's account of the game. I don't think Jordan Leisure was warmed. Maybe he warmed during the 8th inning, but I don't think that when Ellard was facing Green, I don't think that Jordan Leisure was throwing. I believe they have a bullpen cam too, so I believe they were able to see what's going on in the White Sox bullpen. And even with Detroit, I believe you could see over the left field wall and into the bullpen anyways. I think you could see through bullpen. So I have to go on Schriffen and Stone's account. I don't think Will Venable had Jordan Leisure up and ready to face a bases-loaded Andy Ibanez and Spencer Torkelson. Ibanez then walked on a 9-pitch at-bat. Leisure gave himself, an all right at-bat, especially if he wasn't warm. He was still throwing 96. So, Leisure, I really can't give him too many, knocks or lashes because he came in apparently cold. He was able to walk Ibanez on a somewhat competitive pitch, competitive at bat. It's 3-2. Torkelson then comes up, and you mentioned him. He's just looked like a completely different player.
It's crazy.
1-0, you throw a ball to Torkelson in the zone, an inside fastball, and it was great work by Connor McKnight, noting earlier in the game that he's now moved closer to the plate and a little bit more up, and he's a little bit more closed, and he's still pulling the ball even more, I think 20% more than what he was ever doing last year. I think it was around 40% he was pulling the ball. Now it's near 60%, and Steve Stone noted that just it's kind of confidence, and as long as you're able to get your front side open, guys are really more worried about closing the outside part of the plate, and they feel very comfortable inside the plate. And Torkelson gets a fastball low and inside, rips it down the line for a game-winning double. I really think this was the worst job by Will Venable so far. This is the game that I think he lost his team. Clevenger didn't look great, and you can definitely question the construction of this White Sox bullpen. You really didn't have a true high leverage or guy with a lot of experience in that bullpen as a high leverage reliever. Clevenger has experience, but as a starter. Penn Murphy is experienced, but he's mainly a journeyman. Cam Boozer has played for a lot of teams, but one of them is the Chicago Dogs. Frazier Ellard, a rookie. Leisure, a rookie. There was nobody with skins on the wall to say, I can come in here, close whatever situation you need me in, and Venable doesn't really have that guy to trust. And, even if that guy you have to trust is Jordan Leisure, at the end of the day, you still have to warm that guy up. And I think that's malpractice on the managerial malpractice from Will Venable. I should have led with that. I wish that came off the dome. That would have been way
good.
Better. Yeah, I know, right?
That would have been a good. Why didn't you give me that for the headline? Come on, man. Yeah,
that would have been great.
Well, yeah, I mean, that
managerial malpractice. Boom. It hits the headlines. You could just smell it from the paper now.
So in that 9th inning, though, how long was it from the mound visit to putting him in the game?
It wasn't a mound visit.
Okay, because on MLB.com it said mound visit. No, it wasn't a mound visit.
No. His ass walked out and tapped that right arm.
See, that's where you...
Yeah, this is my right arm.
See, maybe that is malpractice then, because that's when you send the catcher up, buy you a couple extra pitches in the pen, and you pull the guy up.
Right. No, it was not like, oh, hey, is he going to pull him? Is he not going to pull him? It seemed like they're talking, and Frazier knew pretty instantaneously. It was a little bit of a beat, but I think Will's like, hey, I got to go to someone else. And then Ellard goes off. It wasn't even like Venable's like, hey, man, I'm going to take you out, but Leisure needs about 30 seconds to get about 3 pitches in, and then he's going to come out onto the mound and warm out up here. You did a great job, but we need to go out here, and I just need to talk for 30 seconds to not only give Jordan Leisure time to get into the game, but also for us to get to the ad break, because it's time for us to take an ad break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. Let's do that because now the reliever is ready and warmed up in the pen. We want to let you know about our friends over at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. It's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. It's a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in the city. You can visit Wrigleyville, River North, or the suburbs. You can visit Champaign, all the way to South Beloit. I highly recommend the Elmwood Park location. You can go visit all of the great establishments in Elmwood Park. I feel for the amount of times I've mentioned Elmwood Park in this read alone, I should be paid by the village of Elmwood Park. So maybe I'm going to stop mentioning the Elmwood Park location. Visit Sunnyside.shop for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright Buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Empire. You don't think I'm busting out the bobblehead?
Such a great bobblehead. Bobblehead Hall of Fame, Empire Carpet guy.
Oh, Empire Carpet. Lynn Haldren, 588-2300, Empire Today. Go visit our friends over at Empire Today. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who are focused on flooring every single day. You've been to the big box stores, you've wandered endless aisles, and then somehow you're hauling these materials home, you're looking for an installer and coordinating everything yourself. You're probably doing favors or calling favors for, your uncle, your cousins. You don't want to do this. Do you even trust them? Do they know what they're doing? Right? Or, are they getting paid on the side by cash, right? Call the experts over at Empire Today. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame with the experts over at Empire. With Empire Today, you get a clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you could schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are better just at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. You heard right, a $350 off discount with code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details. Tom Jankowski has a good question in the chat, so make sure you star that, Kevin. If there are any other notes or comments that stick out to you, make sure you star those. Let us know your thoughts on either Will Venable, this sweep by the Tigers. If you have any questions for me, and make sure too that you hit the thumbs up button and you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. This is a Sunday, but we got Sox postgame, we got Cubs postgame coming up. We just had Bulls postgame. We have you White Sox fans covered. We have you Chicago fans covered, and you're wearing the Blackhawks hat.
I am.
Hawks play tonight too.
They do,
and we're doing a Blackhawks postgame. We got you covered. Come on, why haven't you subscribed? Why? You have, Nick, give me 3 good reasons. Can you come up with 3 good reasons why you haven't subscribed? We're getting close to 80K. That's a great reason to subscribe. Maybe one reason why you don't subscribe is because I don't know how to say the damn word.
I was going to say you're hurting a little bit. Subscribe. But, hey, you should subscribe. It's really easy to do.
Absolutely.
And go subscribe to the new Cubs page, please. Even if you're a White Sox fan, go subscribe to the new Cubs page.
Now you're pushing it. Now you're pushing it,
Come
Kev.
on.
All right, let's get into the Tom Jankowski question, just because I do have stats that are readily available. We'll talk about some minor league stuff as well. Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith made their 2025 debuts. I got a guy that I'm really excited about down in Kannapolis that I want to talk to you about. Braden Montgomery hit a home run, but it's an intriguing home run. It's not just any run-of-the-mill home run. And I think we had an amazing Charlotte Knights comeback this Sunday that I can tell you about. A home run from Edgar Caro and Chase Meidroth. Oh my. So exciting stuff there. But let's get into Tom Jankowski's question. Is Luis Robert in a slump or bad or both? Fantastic question. Really great way to just phrase it because it can be all 3. It can be 2 of the 3. It can be one of them. And it also could be none of them. I think that he is in a slump. And if we want to say that, I think that he is, honestly, Kevin, let's go to the data.
We can do that.
Let's talk about Robert's performance in cold weather. And maybe I'll be able to answer if he's in a slump, bad or both. Robert, in 0 to 40 degree Fahrenheit weather, has a 218 weighted runs created plus. That's very, very good. A slash line of 455, 500 on base percentage, and 636 slugging. Wow. 12 plate appearances, though. So, not a big sample size. In 50 to 40 degree Fahrenheit weather, 87 weighted runs created plus, 248 average, 308 on base percentage, 372 slugging, 133 plate appearances. A little bit more of a sample size, but still, that's not that many in the grand scheme of things.
No.
You really can't make a true judgment. And that is his worst kind of bar there or parameter kind of marker, that 40 to 50 degree Fahrenheit weather, because then in 50 to 60 degree Fahrenheit weather, a 109 weighted runs created plus, 60 to 7 degree Fahrenheit weather, a 126 weighted runs created plus, 80. And then I was just a little goofy. I put 120 degree Fahrenheit. Arizona gets hot. 106 weighted runs created plus for Robert. And those last three, the 60 to 70, the 70 to 80, and the 80 to 100, you have a 450 plate appearance sample, a 663 plate appearance sample, a 489 plate appearance sample. I think it's fair to say that both he's a slow starter and his balls really don't carry. Yeah. I just had to say it because that was what was coming out of my mouth.
Blue Chew Read up next.
They're not a sponsor anymore. Robert has 2 career home runs in 0 to 50 degree Fahrenheit weather. So 86 of his career home runs have come in 50 degree or hotter weather. I think part of it is just him not having the same oomph and carry in 40 to 50 degree weather, because you can see the average goes down and the on-base percentage goes down in the 50 to 60 degree Fahrenheit thing. It's 248 to 231, 308 on-base percentage to 281, but the slugging percentage is insane, and that puts him an above average weighted runs created plus. His slugging percentage in 40 to 50 degree Fahrenheit, 372, 50 to 60, 495, nearly 500, and again, that's about 200 more plate appearances, 133 with the 87 weighted runs created plus in 40 to 50 degree Fahrenheit weather, to 229 plate appearances for the 109 weighted runs created plus in the 50 to 60 degree Fahrenheit bar. So Robert, I think, is just pretty bad in April, and it's mainly due to the weather. So I think that he will be a little bit better when the weather warms up. It's pretty ugly to watch, though.
Can I
right
get my
now
2
what
cents
he's got? 161, 250 on base average, and 194 slug in 2025. Jump in, Kev.
Who, if you're an opposing pitcher, who are you afraid of in that White Sox lineup, aside from Luis Robert Jr.?
Mike Tauchman.
Okay, one guy. Doesn't really hit for a lot of power, is on base a lot, but you can attack guys like Luis Robert or you can pitch around them, because who else are you afraid of in that lineup? I know that Benintendi's got a couple homers early on, but for the most part, this team is going to be near the bottom of the league in power, slug, and home runs. So you don't have to pitch to Luis Robert Jr. You can give him a bunch of garbage and make him chase, and he does that. That's a struggle of his.
Kevin, do we have a breaking news sounder in here? Breaking news, Andrew Benintendi, one of the hitters you have to fear in the White Sox lineup, day to day, he left the game with left adductor tightness. You're fair. I mean, Benintendi's been pretty decent this season, 290 average, 333 on base percentage, 484 slugging. But, and here's been an issue with his entire $75 million contract. He's been hurt for most of it and not been 100%. So.
Victor Von Doom calling me out. Did I say Benintendi? Did I let my Chicago accent slip there? Benintendi?
That guy right there stinks, my friends. But I bring up Mike Tauchman. Mike Tauchman made his White Sox debut today. The Palatine Pounder. And man, I am hyped about Mike Tauchman. Mike Tauchman saw 26 pitches today. Mike Tauchman tied for the 20th most pitches seen in a game by a White Sox since 2024. Mike Tauchman, nobody, literally only 20 other times in 162 games last year did any player on the White Sox see more pitches in a game. Mike Tauchman in 3 at-bats, 4 plate appearances, 26 pitches. I love to see it. I think this is going to be consistent, and this is what they wanted in the Mike Tauchman signing and I want to say Andrew because there's so many Andrews, Austin Slater signing as well. So I'm at least excited about the Mike Tauchman addition because he makes the White Sox lineup a little bit more dangerous. But to answer your question, I mean, you're not really fearing Luis Robert Jr. Because there was one thing that I did want to bring up that I thought was interesting from DJ. I was listening to the radio on the car, and this was during Robert's first at-bat. He checked his swing, and he went around against a Jackson Jobe sweeper. And DJ said, you could really tell when he's off when he doesn't have that patience, that timing at the plate, when he is checking those swings pretty toughly at balls that aren't even competitive, that sweepers are just completely in the other left-handed batter's box. When he's checking his swing at those, you could tell that he's, off. But then he ends up working an 8-pitch walk. So then you're like, hey, maybe something's coming around here. But I was really excited about Robert's lack of swinging strikes, lack of whiffs in spring training, and his ability to be a little bit more patient and draw walks in spring training. But DJ did say something interesting that hasn't clicked in my mind, and it makes a lot of sense now. He mentioned that the spring training success he thinks was due to the smaller strike zone in spring training. Because they were working with ABS, the strike zone was built in a very certain dimension, and if it was anything kind of iffy, Robert could just challenge it. That smaller strike zone made Robert so much dangerous. So now that Robert does have a pretty unencumbered strike zone that is, still iffy, and it's based on a human's decision-making behind the plate, it does seem like he's still a little bit more willing to swing up at the plate. So I did find it interesting that spring success that I was so excited about could just be given to the smaller, tighter strike zone with ABS. So just knowing the White Sox luck, they're going to get rid of him in 2026, 2027. There's going to be ABS, and he's going to become, Bo Jackson.
Rock star.
Yeah. Bo Jackson, but healthy and a center fielder.
That's not a new thing, though. They've been using ABS, right? More than just this offseason.
Well, they've tried it at the minor leagues. They've used it for the first time in spring training. Okay, but they have not used it at a major league level.
Okay, so I was wondering, like in spring training, if they were practicing more with it. The big league players were practicing more with it. That was my question. Right? Wouldn't they be looking to use it more? I
don't know. I mean, I would think so, but it seems like at least, the umpires do not want it.
Clearly, yeah.
I think
take their job away.
I mean, it could be possible next year you get it, but I mean, at least for 2025, there's going to be no ABS. Let's go to the super chat. I did know we got one from Trey. Shout out to our guy Trey, living in enemy Twins territory and still repping the White Sox. So shout out to Trey. What exactly is Getz and Company good at? Appreciate the super chat, $2 super chat there from our guy Trey. You're holding up 3 minutes. So if I'm answering Trey's question, I have to talk for 3 minutes?
Well, you can give your best guy. You can talk about it for 3 minutes.
All right, here's my answer. Come on. What is Getz and Company good at?
I think.
That was the answer. That was the bet. Nothing.
I was trying to be nice.
You could try to be nice. Feel free. No, try to be nice.
I think the Mike Tauchman signing's good. I think they made some marginal signings this year to win more than 41 games. You can't really. This is a team.
They got 2 wins, buddy.
They had to strip the roster down completely. I think he did well in the Crochet trade, but again, I was with you last year. You can go back and replay the tape. I would have extended Crochet. I would have at least tried. But I don't think that falls on the GM. I think he did well in that trade.
I think he did well in that trade, and I think you're fine to say that. I'm very excited about Chase Mydroth, and he was the third piece of that deal. It does seem like the top 3 of those pieces are going to be very, 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 very intriguing. Right now, the Sox have a win percentage of 22.2. Does Chris Getz, as his career GM, what's his win percentage? Is his win percentage even above 25%?
Well,
he is, as a GM, a loser 75% of the time.
43 total wins, right? 2 wins this year, 41 last year, so 43. Yeah. Good math, Kevin.
Well, but I mean, he took over in August, so I was still counting September of 2023. But yeah, no, 43 if you're just counting 2024 and 2025. And you really do just look at what Trey is saying. The Fetty trade is still very, very questionable.
Yeah.
I think Gerald Perez went deep today, so shout out Gerald, my guy. Not really, but if anyone's having success, it's my guy. But you really did question the Fetty trade because Fetty, with his contract, you thought he'd be more valuable. I mean, Matt Boyd just got $14 million from the Chicago Cubs. Eric Fetty's still making $8.5 million, and I think he's got kind of those rubber band arms. I think he could give you, ERA plus of 100 with 140 innings pitched. I don't think that's crazy. I think that's easily worth 8.5. And then you had Kopech, who just turned into a nuclear closer for the Dodgers. Hey, did you see Blake Snell's on the IL? Do you think Michael Kopech might ramp back up as a starter? No. I'd puke.
No.
Trey also brings up the Cease trade. Drew Thorpe, TJ, Jairo Uriarte, bad. Samuel Zavala did have, I think, 3 walks, but he's still stuck in Winston-Salem. I mean, I do not get it. And Victor Von Doom brings up trading aces. You said they could have extended Garrett Crochet. If they were very, 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 very aggressive, you saw how good this guy was on opening day. I said it. Go out and extend him. He looks like Randy Johnson. You had him in the building. You thought he was good enough to be an opening day starter. Like, go out and make the move. Brian Bannister's aware that, hey, we're only going to have these starting pitchers for 6 years. Like, if Garrett Crochet was only going to cost $100 million for 6 years last year, and now you're seeing the Red Sox are paying him, what, 6 years, $175?
It's a lot of money.
What was the deal? Like, I mean, like, you could have gotten him at a huge discount.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't don't know. I don't know. If Trey brings up 43 and 129, what are they good at? PR? People love the White Sox prospects, but we've done that before. Like, I don't really want to get that attached to Braden Montgomery because he's doing it right now in Kannapolis. Can he do it at Birmingham? Can he do it at Charlotte? And then the biggest question of them all, can he actually do it at the major leagues? And Colson Montgomery doesn't even have a batting average above 100, Kev. But I'm not mad at you. I'm sorry.
Getz didn't draft him, though.
No, but he was bringing up him being the opening day starter. And there wasn't any. I mean, Jacob Maya's their shortstop.
Yeah.
There wasn't an actual move to get you a major league shortstop for the 2025 team. Your plan was a 23-year-old with back injuries.
Shortstops are expensive, man. If you want to lose games,
that's the real answer.
Shortstops are expensive. That's an expensive position to pay for, even backups.
Later on in the show, we'll talk about Jerry Reinsdorf, and I'll hold myself from throwing up. Let's take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We want to let you know about our friends over at Bet365. What a game last night. Who had Houston money line? Mercy. Hopefully you didn't cash out. You're able to hold that on to the last second. You were probably waiting, and then Cooper Flagg throws up that ball with 0 rotation. Anyways, I got to get away from the point. Bet365 is now live in Illinois. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up. Use the code CHGO365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or lose. I'm rooting for Kelvin Sampson on Monday, right? National title games on Monday?
Yep. Monday at 8.
I'm rooting for Kelvin Sampson. That just seems like a great story, right? Get that guy his national title game, and you can go put $5 on Kelvin Sampson's Houston Cougars. I was going to call them the Tigers, Houston Cougars, to win the national championship game. And guess what? If Kelvin Sampson is either happy or sad at the end of the night, you are getting $150 in bonus bets because you get it, win or lose. There you go. Go sign up over at Bet365. Download the app. Use code CHGO365. Again, bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or lose. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Game Time, who the best way to get MLB tickets is our friends over at Game Time.
It's not even close.
You being a smart White Sox fan, you are going to wait until the last possible second before you walk into Rate Field. At 6:39, you will have the Game Time app open. You will have code CHGO, and you will be able to look at the last-minute deals and get the lowest possible ticket to roam around Rate Field. If you're going to a game this year, if you're taking the Metro, if you're taking the CTA, if you're taking the Red Line, if you're taking the Green Line, if you're taking the Rock Island, if you're driving and giving Jerry $20 or $30, it's not even $20, who am I kidding, $55 for parking, you can go and get possibly $2 tickets over at Game Time. Killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB MLB tickets. And again, there are last-minute deals. You could save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
$7 to get in on Friday against the Red Sox on Game Time right now. $7.
Truly, just wait. Just wait, because that will be like $2 on the actual day of. Let's get into a little bit of Red Sox talk, honestly, because you bring it up.
Yeah.
The White Sox have 3 games coming up against the Guardians, and then they have 3 games coming up against the Red Sox. It doesn't seem like they'll be facing Garrett Crochet on the 3 games coming up in Chicago. But I believe starting on the 18th, they'll be in Boston. The 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st, they will be in Boston. On the 21st, on a Monday, at 10:05 Central, 11:05 a.m., you will likely see the Garrett Crochet revenge game. I am giving you 15-day notice right now before the newly inked 6-year, $170 million ace for the Boston Red Sox takes the mound against the team that just traded him, did not trade him at last year's deadline, did not give him an extension, and he had a pretty hectic, albeit, career. They gave him 0 time in the minor leagues, albeit COVID. But then he has to deal with an injury and only pitches 12 innings in 2021. Has to be out of all of 2022. Barely plays in 2023 because he's still recovering. And then in 2024, they're like, yeah, he could be a starter. But they really have no attachment to him. And they're just able to trade him off at the most convenient time possible for them. He is going to shove it down the Chicago White Sox throat. I had a bad feeling about this Tigers series when I was looking at it on Thursday and telling you about it. I had a feeling they were going to be 2-7. Hey, here they are, no longer in first place or tied for first place in the AL Central, and 2-7. And looking 15 days ahead, especially probably without Andrew Benintendi or possibly without Andrew Benintendi, Garrett Crochet is going to dominate. And it is going to be a huge day in Boston because Crochet is starting, but also because it's Patriots Day. It is Massachusetts holiday. They play baseball at 11:05 because they're stupid and hopped up on Dunkin' Donuts. Garrett Crochet is going to try to represent Boston as best as possible. I will be surprised if the White Sox get more than 2 hits. I think that it's possible that he strikes out more than 12. And you can go use Bet365, our presenting sponsor. Use code CHGO365 to bet on Garrett Crochet to strike out 12 plus because he will.
Sounds like you want that to happen. Felt a little bit of a tone in your voice there. No?
It's
you just think
it's what we deserve. You know, there's the idea of manifestation. I was talking to my wife today about this on my walk, and she was like, "You can only manifest what you deserve." And I don't think I can manifest Garrett Crochet giving up 4 home runs to the Chicago White Sox, because why do the White Sox deserve that? Garrett Crochet is worked and put in all of this effort to be the best pitcher that he could possibly be. He has worked and earned to get a 6-year, $170 million contract. He was so good, he completely skipped the minor leagues, was throwing 100 in relief for the Chicago White Sox. Like, I think that this is going to be a guy that has put all of his effort and energy to destroy and kill the White Sox, and I think that's what's going to happen on the 21st. I'm just looking in the future, Kevin. That's all. Anyways, let's get into, I think that's it from this Tiger series. Matt Tice and Corey Lee combined have an over 300 average and 800 OPS. The Sox are 2-7, and that's all that really matters. We talked about Luis Robert Jr. being iffy in the cold. I think he'll warm up. I think he'll be fine come May, June, and July, and hopefully he'll be able to get traded. I'm kind of just sick of the up and down and back and forth. I don't know what Getz does well. I think just give him enough time and maybe he'll just figure something out. I don't have like a true invested hope in this. I have to see something work out. We saw a great crop of prospects in Jimenez, Moncada, Anderson, Robert all come up, and we got one really great year in 2021.
I'll tell you one thing he has to do. He's got to nail the top 10 draft pick coming up.
He'll be a number 1 draft pick. Fingers crossed. We got to start doing tankathon.
And he's got to nail it.
Yeah, we got to start.
Doesn't matter where it is, got to nail it.
We got to start figuring out and playing that game after every single loss, where the White Sox end up in that lottery. Yeah, he's got to. And that's the other thing, too. I mean, you have Hagen Smith, who we're going to talk about in a second, but Jack Caglianone, or whatever, how the Cags, is hitting bombs for the Kansas City Royals, hitting balls out of stadiums for the Royals. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that pick. I like Hagen, but I don't know. All right, let's get into some Jerry BS, if that's how I can phrase it. He spoke to, or somebody in the Jerry Reinsdorf camp spoke to, USA Today baseball writer Bob Nightingale, and Bob Nightingale wrote, "The Chicago White Sox, despite all of the rumors and speculation, are not being sold. White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf, 90, that's his age, has made it perfectly clear to friends that he has zero interest in selling as long as he remains in good health. He has rebuffed all of minority investor Justin Ishbia's request to purchase controlling interest of the team." I want to ask Bob Nightingale, and maybe I can figure out where his phone number is, because I've worked in radio long enough to probably have Bob Nightingale's phone number. What is new about this? Why are you reporting this? This is just, honestly, I think, starting stuff to start stuff. This seems exactly like where we were. I reported that Justin Ishbia was able to purchase a significant amount of percent from the minority investors. We talked on when Dan Hayes said that Ishbia was abandoning his pursuit of Twins ownership to then pursue this White Sox endeavor, increase his minority investment. In that piece, Brooks Boyer, I believe it was Brooks or it was Scott Reifert, one of the two, said that there is an opportunity for this increasement, that minority owners have been given this idea that your percentage is being valuated at this percentage. There is a buyer. If you want to get out, you're able to get out. If you don't want to get out, you don't have to get out, and everything will stay the same with your percentage. That sale happened. I don't think it's been approved by major league owners, but from what I have been able to figure out or hear, Justin Ishbia has been able to gain a significant amount of percentage of minority investing or of minority ownership. The report from Sportico back in 2021 was that his brother, Matt and Justin, had a single-digit percent of minority ownership. And if they were going to purchase the Twins, they had to sell that ownership percent. Jerry reportedly went to Justin and said, let's try to increase your minority percentage. I will control the team, and when I'm ready to sell, I will sell to you. I don't think, and maybe Ishbia has asked him in like talks, just when they've been face to face, like, hey, would you sell me to the team? When are you going to sell me the team? And then Bob's just asking Jerry, like, when are you going to sell the team? Oh, we've talked about it, but I'm in good health. I'm not selling the team. Like, I really do think this was a nothing burger. Nothing from what I know has changed. Justin Ishbia did increase his percentage of minority ownership in the Chicago White Sox. It is a significant double-digit amount for the ownership percentage. Jerry Reinsdorf has controlling stake and controlling decision-making. He is the chairman of the White Sox. I believe he's the chairman of the board. He has the vote of the board. What he says goes, but right now I think his percentage of ownership is around Jerry's, around probably 30%. So the main thing, though, is just that Jerry has controlling ownership, and he's not selling that to Ishbia yet. And that might change when the 90-year-old eventually runs into health problems, because from what I've learned from life, we all run into health problems eventually. Have I stated this correctly? Like, is there any other questions here, Kevin? Because I feel like I'm kind of rambling. The whole point is that what Bob reported could have just, you could have said nothing. Bob, there was no actual story here. Ishbia increased his minority percentage, and it says he has rebuffed all of minority investor Justin Ishbia's request. He is a minority owner. He has increased his minority owner percentage ship to the point where he's able to kind of push Jerry, hey, when am I going to be controlling the team? I don't know when that's going to be, but we know that the 78 is a goal for the Chicago White Sox. Let's see how it plays out. It's been a month. Anything? Did I miss anything?
No, I there was no. You're right. It's a nothing burger story in my. I read it. Until there's actual movement, and there will be other reporters who will have it as well. I would wait and just pump the brakes on any sort of getting angry, speculating. Just wait. Like you said.
Right. Right now, the White Sox are in a very, very interesting position. Jerry Reinsdorf right now controls the team. There is not, like, for most of the people watching, I think somebody said he's been a fan for 62 years. I don't know how old that gentleman is. Maybe that gentleman won't be able to see the Jerry Reinsdorf ownership reign end. But, like, I feel pretty confident that Kevin and me will be able to see the end of the Jerry Reinsdorf era end. And, knock on wood, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the man, but, like, I think there is a future within the next 5 years where Justin Ishbia controls the Chicago White Sox. That's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox postgame. The Sox lose 4-3. Let me know your thoughts on Will Venable. Let me know your thoughts on Jerry Reinsdorf. And hey, let me know your thoughts about Luis Robert Jr. Appreciate Kevin Wells for producing today's show. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We got a Cubs postgame coming up, and we got a CHGO Blackhawks postgame coming up. Make sure that you hang out with us on Tuesday as well. I will be back for a post-game of that game as the White Sox take on the Guardians. Talk to you then. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.